All right, everybody, we are live. All right, we've got attendees joining now. It's about 8 o'clock. Thank you, everybody, for joining. My name is Jason Fitzgerald, Product Manager here at Blustream, and I have with me today Jason Dominique, who our National Sales Director for Blustream, and also Neil Ellsworth, who is our Product Director for Blustream. Okay, we're getting people logging on. We'll give it a minute or two just to make sure we can get on, and then we'll jump right in. I just want to make sure that as this session is running, because we've got a lot of people that's joining today, please make sure if you have questions, use the Q&A option in Zoom to ask questions. And we've got people standing by that can help, answer those questions. And of course, if they're certainly, I'm sure we'll get some great questions. We'll try to reiterate some of those at the end of the session so that we can share that with everybody. All right. Hopefully everyone's having a good morning. Okay. Anything else, JD or Neil, that you want to add?
Nothing really. Just thank you everybody for being on the call, and let's learn some Dante.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to hear about this.
Okay. Oh, getting a good turnout here. So yeah, I'll give it probably maybe another 30, about another minute or so. And then we'll go ahead and dive right in. And this session is, of course, being recorded today. So, we'll put a reference up to this. We'll make sure that we'll put this out to the channel. And then everybody's been signing on through different avenues that we've been, certainly promoting this webinar. And we'll make sure to get that link out to you guys so you can review this content after the fact and can learn about Dante, right? We're going to do an introduction today talking about Dante. So what Dante is, and also look at applications. And remember, and I'll say this at the end of the webinar as well, the second session next week, which will be a little bit more ad hoc, we'll talk specifically about the solutions, right? We want to spend today talking specifically about the Dante for an introduction, for introductory purposes, which means from a product side, once we know what Dante is, we can dive right into that. Okay, I'm going to cut this out so we save a little bit of bandwidth here. Okay. So hopefully everyone can still hear me. All right, so you know what? We're going to go ahead and start diving right in. We'll spend about 30 minutes talking about this, and then we'll open it up to Q&A afterwards, so please stay tuned for that. And yeah, let's go ahead and dive right in. Hello, and welcome to our first webinar of 2023. My name is Jason Fitzgerald, and I'm a product manager here at Blustream. And today, we will be solely focusing on introducing you to Dante. What is Dante? Where is it being used today? And more importantly, how is Blustream and Dante going to help you grow your business? Putting it simply, the key word here is opportunity. By beginning to understand what Dante is, how easy it is to set up and manage, and combined with the products we offer from Blustream, you'll have the tools necessary to add these products to your arsenal that will allow you to capture more opportunities in verticals that you may not be in today. With that, let's see what Dante is and why the pros have been leaning on this technology for all of their audio routing and management needs for many years. So, what is Dante? If you ask the guys over at Audinate, the creators of this technology, they'll tell you that Dante is a complete audio networking solution. It's an ecosystem of thousands of products from nearly 400 manufacturers and is very likely responsible for over 90% of the networked audio products in professional use today. But what does that actually mean? At the heart of Dante is the ability to distribute uncompressed audio signals in a digital format and in massive quantities over a standard IP network. It is, in a sense, similar to what Blustream does today with our video over IP technology. But as a standard, it's compatible with the multitude of devices that are already out there today. What this means for you is that you'll be able to create an audio distribution system leveraging a network so that every device can easily talk to each other with near perfect synchronization and with ultra low latency. So instead of using the analog or digital cables to connect a signal from one point to another, you'll be able to use an IP network to send the same or better audio quality to one or more devices at the same time without any loss. Now, most of us are familiar with the concept of a video over IP matrix. Like video over IP, as I mentioned earlier, you'll get the same flexibility and scalability, but with audio. Now, let's see what Dante does. As Dante is no doubt being deployed in the professional audio industry, we'll start with this simple example. In a studio, for monitoring audio from a microphone, a traditional analog distribution from the mic to a speaker could look similar to something like this. Essentially, using analog cables to snake the signal from one device to the next. First, from the microphone to a mixer, and then another cable from the mixer to an amplifier. And then finally, there'll be a cable from the amplifier to the speaker. Now, if we imagine a scenario where we have three similar studios or audio paths, we've replicated this signal chain 3 times, where each device is isolated and connected a la point to point without any interoperability between each other. While this may not be exactly how you would likely connect 3 mics in one studio, you may very well have multiple mics and multiple mixers to manage. The point is that when using standard analog or digital cables, you have these singular extensions that are really just that, extenders that are meant to connect just 2 devices together. If we want to have devices talk to each other, or even split these signals to go to more than one place, say to feed audio not only to a speaker, but maybe to a different amplifier for headphone monitoring, we'd need to split these signals. And that means what? More cables. And more cables can lead to more complications. And while this is how it was done for many, many years, we have the technology to make it easier and more efficient. If we place a piece of equipment at the center of this scenario, with each device in these chains connecting to this central routing hub, if you will, we can then route signals from anywhere to anywhere. Any mic can talk to any mixer, or any one mic can be distributed to multiple mixers or any combination therein. It's the same equipment, but the signal paths are different. They can now all be smartly routed and truly distributed. This is the power of Dante. So, how does Dante actually do this? It essentially packetizes the audio into small message signals that are suitable for routing on an IP network. These packets contain all of the necessary information, such as the audio signal, timings, and their destination addresses, along with the control data needed to make them work effectively on an IP infrastructure. When a Dante device on the opposite end receives this information, it simply converts that back to an audio stream that is bit for bit the same as the original. No degradation and in perfect sync. The transmission of Dante is so fast, we're talking about delivery of audio that can, in many cases, be less than a millisecond. That's right, Dante measures latency latency of audio down in microseconds. This also means that since the hub here isn't doing much of anything other than routing the signal around, we can use switches of all makes and models. Support isn't limited to a list of specific brands or models. In fact, small Dante networks can even be used on unmanaged switches, making the cost of entry for a Dante system extremely lucrative. So now that we have all of our devices talking to each other, how will we manage these routes and make sure that our network is working perfectly well? While there are a few different ways to manage a Dante network, the simplest and arguably the most used is with the free to download Dante controller software. This software gives you all the tools needed to manage both small and large Dante deployments. Now, I won't spend the time here to go over every single feature because we really wanted to take the time today to introduce you to Dante. But rest assured that with this software tool, we can not only manage routes and the configuration of Dante equipment, but gain insight into all of the communication, monitoring, latency, and bandwidth information for ensuring that our Dante system is working to its maximum potential. We'll often use this information to troubleshoot if something isn't working the way that we want. Many of our customers today who are just getting into Dante are most often using this tool to simply make the routes they need to make Dante devices communicate with each other. The software presents routing in a very simple fashion, with all of our sources or transmitters at the top and all of our playout or receiving devices on the left. Using these as row and column headers, there's a grid where we can actively create routes by clicking on the box at the intersection of the sources and receivers that we want to connect to each other. It's that simple. In fact, this grid style of matrixing is the same style that Blustream employs across our video matrix products because it makes selection easy and uncomplicated. When you click on an intersection, you'll create what Dante refers to as a subscription. And indeed, that's essentially what you're doing, subscribing a receiver to an audio source to have audio sent to it. There's contextual information that shows you where everything is working. And if something isn't quite right, you'll get information right here that tells you what the problem is so you can resolve it quickly. Dante employs automatic discovery, which means that the system is plug and play, right? That's right. You plug everything into your network and it should just work, right? That's the Dante mantra. Dante, it just works. For those that are familiar with some networking, this means that Dante devices are set up with DHCP. And in the event that you connect to a network without a DHCP server, it'll fall back to link local addressing, which will still ensure that Dante devices will be discovered and communicate with each other seamlessly. So again, it will all be plug and play for most networks, which, when paired with the Dante controller, will be extremely easy to deploy and manage. Now that we know what Dante is and how Dante works, where is Dante being used and how can we leverage this to expand our businesses? First, it's a good idea to see where Dante is being deployed into today, as you may very well be working in some of these verticals already. And if you're not using Dante in those installs, just hearing about where Dante is being utilized can lead you to a conversation with us, the Blustream team, to show you how we can integrate into those projects. In the commercial space, there's a very good chance that you've listened to audio that's been delivered via Dante at multiple points in your life. Many PA or public announcement systems in train stations, airports, and public transportation hubs use Dante for delivering audio announcements and important messaging. Audio for sports stadiums and live events are another huge market for using Dante, as the flexibility for Dante lends itself very well to providing front of house, back of house, broadcasting, mixing, and recording audio feeds all at the same time using a network infrastructure, and where inexpensive category cabling can be deployed. One cable standard also means that there isn't a need for using multiple types of cabling, reducing complications. There are even professional locking mechanisms for this very purpose that make connections secure and robust for high-use environments. Shopping centers and large congregation areas use Dante for background music and PA services too. The availability of Dante amplified speakers now also means that you can reduce the cabling needed to drive speakers with traditional amplifiers. Directly connect a category cable to these amplified speakers, and you're ready to go for direct-to-speaker deployments. We've even been part of yacht and marine transport projects where the number of cable runs needs to be limited, and by using only a single cable standard makes it conducive for use in those types of installations. By Dante's standard definition, you can host up to a 512 by 512 audio network on a 1 gigabit link at 48 kilohertz and 24-bit resolution. Now that's a lot of audio we can support on one cable by using Dante. Houses of worship are also seeing large deployment using Dante. And this is not by accident, as houses of worship, both big and small, operate similarly to broadcast environments, where Dante's very low latency and native integration of Dante in some of the biggest broadcast equipment manufacturers are already a reality. Moving over to the residential or CI side of things, we've seen a huge uplift in the integration of Dante into amplifiers and other audio equipment that are being used in high-end residential homes. I recently sat in on a conversation where Dante was used in a high-end residential home to route audio signals from a processor uncolored in any fashion with EQ, other latency correction, for connection to multiple high-end amplifiers where they had direct control over each woofer for each speaker. They needed the signal replicated and sent to multiple amplifiers where they could tune each woofer separately. The benefit here was the supreme reduction of all the cabling needed to route all of the individual audio signals down to just one single Cat5e cable from the processor to the location where the amplifiers were near each speaker. In this case, Dante was the transport for a full Dolby Atmos theater setup and was also used for the entire house audio distribution system that was located in another area of the house. Now, this is definitely skewing towards a very customized and unique residential application that is certainly not the norm, but it's clear that Dante is gaining adoption here. One of the biggest benefits in residential is the decentralization of audio, similarly to what we can do with video over IP. This allows us to put endpoints anywhere while using an inexpensive cable medium that is truly digital and can reduce cabling costs and confusion. Having this as a digital signal that works on a network also means that we can help eliminate some of those issues found with analog cabling, such as crosstalk or the introduction of noise, while allowing for longer distances to be reached easily. This, however, isn't solely where we see the major benefit for those of us in the CI space who wish to expand our businesses using Dante. While we saw many of these Dante innovations and products for the CI channel start to materialize before the pandemic, a simple Google search will show that many of the Dante product articles were released pre or early pandemic. And at Blustream, we still do believe that Dante can play a part in residential applications as a means to decentralize audio equipment and connect everything together. Although we strongly believe that where Dante has an immediate applicability today for you, our customers and listeners, in the light commercial space. So for those that are either doing light commercial or want to expand into that arena, Blustream and Dante are here to help. To summarize, let's review Dante as a whole. Firstly, Dante is easy to use. Signal routing and system configuration with Dante is simple and flexible. The controller automatically discovers each and every device on the network, enabling you to instantly route audio, label devices as you wish, and configure the network all with a few simple mouse clicks. It's the de facto standard for networked audio distribution. With Dante, interoperability is a standard. Dante has been adopted by more AV manufacturers than any other networking technology, giving you the choice to install hundreds, if not thousands, of Dante-enabled devices together. All Dante-enabled products are 100% compatible, enabling you to mix devices from multiple manufacturers in a single network without a single worry of interoperability. It's economical. One cable does it all. Dante uses low-cost, easily available Cat5e, Cat6, or even fiber optic cabling for a simple, lightweight, and economical solution. Dante integrates media and control for your entire system over a single standard network. Dante's versatile. Dante systems are highly scalable, from a simple pairing of a console to a computer to complex networks running thousands of audio channels simultaneously. And finally, Dante delivers outstanding quality. Because everything is transmitted digitally, you don't have to worry about interference from other electrical equipment, crosstalk between cables, or signal degradation over long cable runs when using the native cable type associated with audio cables. So now that we've had a quick look at Dante as a technology, now let's take a look at a few of the solutions that Blustream can help you get started with Dante. To start this conversation, we should look at what Dante offers from a high level and show you where and why Blustream has taken the path that we have. In the beginning, Dante started with a handful of integrated circuits, or ICs, that manufacturers were able to easily integrate into products. This family has grown to the catalog that you see here, addressing the audio needs of nearly any application, from 2-channel stereo on and off ramping to extremely large systems that can supply audio to a stadium's worth of equipment. Along with this, the control and management of these signals, the technical magic, so to speak, of ensuring low latency and tight synchronization was also embedded or included, which meant that all we needed to do was include these ICs into our products. You're probably familiar with how we traditionally designate matrices, such as a 4x4 or 8x8, that denote the input and output capabilities of said matrix. These chips are no different. The number of inputs and outputs that each of these chips are capable of supporting are notated in the same fashion. So, like the 64x64 that the Brooklyn chip supports, can manage 64 channels of audio inputs as well as 64 channels of audio outputs at the same time. In residential, we often think of matrices as stereo pairs, so the Brooklyn would be similar to a 32x32 audio matrix. The key here is to remember that these are individual audio channels and not stereo pairs. And because all of this audio routes on the network, we aren't limited on how many endpoints that we can address with just a single chip. Now, that's a massive number of audio channels, but why is this important? What you'll find with Blustream is that we know where our strengths lie, and nearly all of our solutions make use of the Ultimo series that has helped us to keep costs down while giving our products the creative value adds that people have come to know Blustream for. For example, pairing Dante 2x2 capabilities with our video over IP products. We've left the 64x64s and 128x128 chips for all the other guys who need those kinds of quantities for DSPs and mixers in large-scale commercial settings. But don't worry, we'll get there one day. But we know that today, most of our customers will be able to benefit from the ability to easily get in and out of the Dante ecosystem with smaller, more focused products using Ultimo. To that end, during the early days of the pandemic, we had the foresight to procure tens of thousands of those Ultimo chips that power many of our solutions today, which the net benefit of Blustream was be able to provide a steady stream of Dante solutions throughout the pandemic. In other words, for many of our solutions, we are either in stock or have just a few weeks to wait for a hot product to come off of our production lines. This is contrary to the massive shortages that we've been hearing about in the industry over the past year. As I mentioned earlier, moving into light commercial applications, or even if you already are working in these verticals, such as bars, restaurants, and corporate AV, adding Dante or moving to a Dante-based audio distribution system can help reduce costs and cabling, as well as bring a level of unparalleled flexibility. The IP250 UHD is the perfect solution for those installations where we need to manage both video and audio as part of a system. The IP250 UHD combines video over IP and Dante into a single chassis that has standout capabilities to open a world of possibilities when it comes to audio and video over the network. All of the benefits of Blustream's video over IP system are here. We employ the exact same technology in our very successful IP200 UHD system with video, audio, and control signal distribution. However, it's the addition of Dante here that opens up new avenues of audio that help this product stand out. In fact, you can mix both the IP200 and IP250s in a single system to get Dante where you need, and where you don't need to bring audio in or out of Dante, the IP200 UHD will provide the video routing without the Dante I/O. This creates a huge cost benefit in a mixed AV system where we want to have distributed audio over Dante, as well as the power of video over IP in one system. By only placing Dante where we need it, we can maximize our dollar spend by using the more inexpensive IP200 where we just need video distribution. In the IP250 UHD, Dante is fully unlocked with both the transmitter and receiver able to both send and receive 2 channels of Dante simultaneously. And because of this, there are multiple paths that we can take with how and where we want to deploy Dante. This is all possible because of our use of the Ultimo chip, which also helps to keep our costs down and allow us to offer this at a fantastic value versus what many of our competitors can achieve. The biggest advantage here is that we're able to patch HDMI audio directly into the Dante network, as well as embed or take over the audio from an HDMI source and replace it with a Dante audio stream. Now we have a way to take audio from any HDMI source, say a DirecTV satellite feed, break it out from HDMI, and then send this directly onto the Dante network, digitally and without any loss, where it can then be distributed to any number of endpoints. Most commonly to a house amplifier where we can have that audio then played throughout an environment. Conversely, if we had a microphone in a bar or restaurant that we wanted to use as a paging or announcement system, we can directly connect it to a transmitter and then embed it into HDMI, where a standard IP200 UHD can then play that message at every single display that ensures that it can be heard everywhere. One of the other benefits of the IP250 series is that we also have a receiver with Dante capabilities that not all of our competitors can claim. This means that at the display side, we have the opportunity to break out Dante for connection to a local amplifier and even bring in audio from an audio source, let's say a smart TV or a music player, directly to Dante for distribution elsewhere. Now, depending on the network size, we have all of the options you need to connect efficiently to both Dante and video over IP networks. Now, as Dante would like, we have a separate interface for connecting to a Dante network, and this is typically something that we recommend when hosting a larger Dante system that will help ensure that we can dedicate a network or a segment of a network to Dante. Alternately, and our default manner of configuration, will host both the Dante and video over IP traffic over a single network interface for ease of connectivity. In small systems where we'll be hosting only a few audio sources for Dante and video for Blustream, we can easily connect everything via one cable, again reducing the amount of cabling that needs to be present for an AV installation that will uncomplicate connectivity and keep costs to a minimum. Now, let's take a look at a practical application where using the IP250 UHD can really benefit from the combined efforts of Dante and Blustream to create a dynamic AV integration in a bar or a restaurant. First, let's start with our existing network. Now, this could be a house network that's used for Wi-Fi access or back office, and is the network that we really don't want to touch because we don't want to put any additional stress or traffic on this network. Next, let's add our switch that'll host our video over IP and Dante equipment. To bridge communications between the existing network and to give us an interface for control, we'll add our ACM 200 control module that will help us easily set up the system, as well as give us a drag and drop interface for controlling our IP products on a daily basis. Connected to the video switch, we'll add our transmitter and then our receiver. And remember, because this is a video over IP network, we can add as many transmitters or receivers that we need for this installation. One transmitter for each source and one receiver for each display. Okay, let's move those extra units out of the way. We'll connect our sources, and in this case, a satellite receiver, right? Satellite video services are a very common source used in bars for showing sports content and other programming. And then, of course, we'll connect our displays. We've now created a typical video over IP system, all right? However, since these are IP250 UHD units that can utilize Dante, we've now opened up additional possibilities that we really didn't have before. Since we can easily take the audio from any of our satellite feeds, we now have access to every audio from each receiver and can now direct this wherever we want. The most common application, of course, would be to send this to an amp for distribution. Perhaps we want to listen to the audio from any of a number of sports games that are currently playing, either in one part of the venue or even throughout. If we're utilizing a Dante capable amp, we can simply connect this to the Dante network and we're ready to go. Since this is all a decentralized system, like our video over IP products, we can place this amp anywhere that we need. Perhaps it's most convenient at the rack, or perhaps we have multiple amps on different floors. We can feed a massive number of audio channels, remember, on a single category cable to get this audio wherever we need it to be. Now, if we aren't using a Dante capable amp, no problem. Here we can employ a simple Dante decoder like the Blustream DA11 ADE that'll convert the Dante signal to a balanced analog output that can be plugged into any kind of amplifier. Alternately, since we're using the IP250 UHD devices, we can utilize them, and their built-in Dante decoder that's right in the receivers and transmitters that'll feed directly into the amplifier. The power of Dante means that we can direct any audio source to any transmitter or receiver as necessary, and you have everything you need right in our Dante-enabled products. Okay, let's clear a little more space and see some additional possibilities. Another area that can be found in bars or restaurants are spaces that are available to rent out for parties or events. Here, you may find a DJ or stage where we can again utilize our IP250 UHD units to connect external audio that we can add to our Dante network. Now, in these spaces, if we're using something like a laptop, we can connect a single HDMI to an IP250 to get both video and sound that can be connected to a local or a house amplifier. When things like mics are needed, these can also be connected to the available analog inputs on an IP250. However, with Blustream, we can open additional connectivity options if, let's say, you're using an analog microphone and want to directly connect to the network to be distributed or amped. Using a DA11 AEN or Dante encoder, we can connect up to 2 individual channels or microphones that will encode and feed right into our Dante network. Taking it a step further, if we want to have any of these audio sources and mics mixed, using a Dante-enabled mixer gives us an easy way to connect, mix, and return that mixed audio back into the Dante network easily, reducing cabling once again and giving us connectivity wherever it's most convenient. Now, let's say we're going to be hosting some serious DJ equipment. Again, using another Blustream solution, such as the Dante XLR wall plate, we can connect to professional XLR connections that can again be sent to our mixer and or amplifier. Remember, we can split audio out to different devices simultaneously using Dante. Blustream also offers an even easier way to connect wirelessly using standard Bluetooth with our DA11 ABLWP or Dante Bluetooth wall plate that can interface with a multitude of consumer audio devices, many that we use on a daily basis. We're really talking about you phones. And lastly, if we indeed come to a scenario such as this, where separate Dante devices are being used outside the purview of our IP250 products, we can mix and match or completely swap out to our IP200 units for managing our video network, further reducing the cost of creating an all-encompassing video and audio solution for this type of venue. We even have small, dedicated 2-channel amplifiers as well that are compact and can easily drive small to medium-sized spaces. Next up, I'll play a short video reviewing the Blustream Dante range of products. And remember, please tune in next week where we'll dive straight into these solutions that'll show the full breadth of what Blustream and Dante can do together. Okay, so with that video, we're closing out the session here today. You can certainly find out more information by going to www.automate.com. And of course, Dante does offer certification. So as this is an introductory session, just to get you into Dante, telling you what it is and how Dante works, I definitely recommend that you log on to Automate and take the level 1 certification at a minimum to kind of get you up to speed with what Dante is for, certainly more information. So in addition to that, you can log on to the Blustream website and get a full lineup and course using our advanced learning portal to know more about Blustream and the technologies that drive all of our products. This is a free course that you can take and sign up directly on our website. With that, we'll go ahead and open this up to questions. I've got my colleagues here, Neil and Jason, and we did get a couple of questions that came through here. Let me pull some of those up. Okay, there were some questions in regards to Dante in terms of like the wall plates, and the wall plates that you saw in that video are shipping today. We often get a question asked about Dante video. If you've heard about Dante, then you probably have heard about Dante on the video side. Now at Blustream, we are employing a number of different video over IP technologies. There's actually quite a few, and rest assured, as we see how the dust settles on which technology is going to take the forefront, we'll be right there to innovate with those technologies, IPMX, STVOE, and of course the platform that we use in a lot of our products today, ASpeed.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah.
I had a question for you. It looks like you're using Dante's software for the controller. Is there any fees associated with using that?
No. So because we're using these Ultimo chips, because we're using hardware solutions, all of the cost for that and the licensing is managed and handled by Blustream, which means there's nothing that's passed on to the end user, and you can simply use these devices to connect in and out of a Dante network.
All right, great. Also, you also said it was plug and play. So if we're using this in a residential or commercial building, we need to add a single source or set a zone of speakers. How difficult is it to do that after the fact?
So fairly simple, as long as we have, you mean like if we can connect. So with the on and off ramp device, the DA11, you saw a little bit of that on the connection diagram. Those pieces very simply can be added to any network for Dante. So you can even go point to point and use that as an extension for taking audio from one place to the next. I'm not sure if that's what you were asking, Neil, but
yeah, no, yeah, pretty much. Just wondering, more so like, do you have to reset up the whole system or anything like that? Is it just simple to add it, plug it in and it shows up in the controller?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I mentioned it a little earlier. So Dante certainly being fully plug and play, you can add stuff to the network ad hoc at any time. So you can plug it in, add it, and remove it. And that scalability, like what we have with video over IP today, we certainly have that, of course, again, with Dante. Right. So we can add stuff in. So as your system grows, right, you need to add an additional, and again, I'll go back to a little bit of the commercial side or even residential. We need to add an additional equipment. No problem. You can send, and if you wanted to have Bluetooth capability, right, from that wall plate, we can simply add that into the network. The Dante controller will automatically pick up on that immediately when it's connected to the network, and you can start routing right then and there.
And I noticed, you say about the Automate learning portal here, but do we have more training on our products on the Blustream Advanced Learning Portal as well?
Yeah, so the Advanced Learning Portal, there are about 38 courses on that learning portal right now that go over various technologies. We talk about HDMI. We do talk about Dante. We talk about, how multicasting in our products particularly work. So anytime, and another, technology we hear about a lot, and if you're familiar in this space, you know about HD-based we'll go over all of that. It's a great resource for you, your technicians to get on to learn about the AV industry and what drives the industry, right? So we can get on, like I said, go to the Blustream website. In fact, I can pull up the site here. Let me just bring it in over here. You can simply go over to our advanced learning portal that's under support. You come down here and boom, here you go, our advanced learning portal. You can click on this, which will take you there, and to sign up, just simply fill out this information right here.
All right.
Oh, do we have a question that came in here? Blustream versus Audinate. So Blustream versus Audinate, what you'll find is that our products just integrate the Dante or the Audinate products, like I talked about with the Ultimo, directly inside of our platforms. Now, the products, some of the products that you saw may be similar to the AVIO pieces that we know that are out there. And what you'll find is that they aren't exactly the same. We use, of course, a lot of the same ICs, but like the inputs and outputs, just the DA11 we talked about, on-ramping and off-ramping, that particular product actually is differentiating itself from the AVIO by having all the gain and sensitivity controls on the outside of the unit. So this is something you don't even have to go in the software and can manage, and can change that in the fly. So if you're in a live event venue scenario, for example, or in a studio, you need to connect to this, you need to make a change to the sensitivity or gain. You can do that very easily using our pieces. And not only that, the Audinate AVIO pieces are powered over PoE. Our units also have the ability to be powered separately via 12 volt. So in a case where you're, in front of a network where you don't have PoE capabilities, you can plug in power directly to these units without a worry. So you have either option: power via PoE or power it via, 12 volt separate adapter. So that's just where we probably get compared against Audinate right off of the bat, because those AVIO pieces, as you dive deeper into the line, you'll find other, more differentiating pieces that have, like the DA44 is a multiple IO input and output with phantom power, et cetera. It's like an aggregate type of device where we can bring in more than just 2 channels at one time. And we have the wall plates and the amplifier. So that's where things between Audinate and Blustream will start to kind of separate. So yeah, that's a great question here. There's a question here regarding the Dante domain controller. And so with the control platform for most all Blustream products today is going to be using the Dante controller. There is the capability, of course, using the API to go ahead and start changing or integrating it into software. And you'll actually start to see some of that. We're behind the scenes working on a solution that'll integrate the management, some of the functionality you see in Dante controller directly into our products. So we can manage that directly, or dynamically, as you noted here, from within an ecosystem of a Blustream product. All right. Well, if we got any other questions, anything else, JD or Neil, that you might want to add or have a question on?
No, I don't think so. And by the way, too, obviously, as Jason mentioned, our advanced learning portal, we also have 24/6 global tech support, but we have live chat features on our website. So you can go on there and there's a section for either just general sales questions or technical support questions. That's a great, useful resource for you. The other thing, too, is if you are working on a project and you're kind of needing help on the build up materials, what would you recommend? What's suggested for a project? Feel free to reach out to us as well, because we can support you and help you in those parts of your project. So that's kind of what we're here for, to service and help you where we can on those projects.
Yeah, that's certainly what I would consider, and we've called this our white glove service. Is that with the multitude of products that are available, and Dante for Blustream is, of course, just one area, right? So we have a bunch of other products that go into presentation products, video over IP, problem-solving products. We are the experts on these, of course, and let us be your guide. If you need help understanding how a Blustream product can fit into an application, you can send us bombs, you can send us application diagrams, schematics, and we'll help make sure that you're using the right Blustream product for the right project. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody today for your time. I know it was about a little over 30 minutes and we're running in on our time. Actually, we ran a little bit over here now, but I appreciate everything. If you want to contact us, feel free. You can reach out to us. You can reach out to myself at jason.fitzgerald@blustream-us.com, jason.dominique@blustream-us.com as well. All right. Oh, I got to thank you. I love it. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. And we, of course, appreciate support. And we'll see you next Tuesday. But we'll dive into those products a little bit deeper. We'll talk about specifications, definitely more on the technical side for that particular webinar. But we'll keep it also ad hoc. So when you guys want to jump right in, same format, just answer questions. And we'll do that live here as well. Right. Okay. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week and on future Blustream webinars. Take care.
Great job, Jason.
Thank you.